Hello, I'm Peter Bergman. This is my official YouTube channel. I'll be updating you with the latest news, so please subscribe to my channel.
Welcome back to our channel, besties. Today is a beautifully chaotic Wednesday, and we are serving up the freshest, most unhinged daytime drama updates just for you. Grab your iced coffees and strap in, because the tea we are brewing today is scalding hot, and we are absolutely here for every single messy second of it. Let's dive right into the madness. My jaw is literally on the floor right now. Besties, we need to hold a literal intervention right now because I am shaking, crying, and throwing up over what just went down in Genoa City. If you have not seen the latest drop, you are fundamentally unprepared for the absolute chaos that is unfolding. Nick Newman is literally in critical condition from a fentanyl overdose. I repeat, Nick Newman is fighting for his life. We all knew the May 22nd intervention was going to be messy, but I did not expect them to rip our hearts out and stomp on them like this. I am hitting record at 3 a.m. with bloodshot eyes, because if I don't trauma dump this onto you guys immediately, I am going to spontaneously combust. The sheer panic, the sirens, the absolute devastation of seeing our legacy king completely shattered by this addiction. It is low-key the most stressful television I have watched in a decade. No cap. Then we have to talk about how we actually got to this horrific rock bottom, because the signs were literally flashing in neon lights. Remember when Victoria caught him popping pills on May 20th? Nick was gaslighting her, gaslighting Adam, and honestly gaslighting himself into believing he had this fentanyl habit totally under control. He bought more drugs just to stay sharp for whatever twisted mission he was running for. Matt Clark! How delusional do you have to be to think you can outsmart fentanyl? Yet, here we are, watching a protective pillar of the community, Newman's son, completely succumb to his demons. The writers really said, let's take Nick's savior complex and weaponize it against him. It is high-key tragic, and watching him spiral from a functional addict to being on the brink of death is making my blood boil, because someone should have locked him up in rehab weeks ago. Mainly, what is absolutely sending me into orbit is Victor Newman's reaction. Hot take. But I am actually ascending, because Victor just made the most unhinged, surprising decision to save his son. We all know Victor and Nikki have been at each other's throats over that disgusting yacht takeover plot. Nikki was literally ready to burn his portraits. But when your son is flatlining, the war is paused. Victor is terrified, but instead of just being a normal weeping father in a hospital waiting room, he goes full ruthless dictator. Victor doesn't just pray, he plots. He is taking matters into his own hands in a way that is so peak Victor Newman that I am literally screaming at my screen. He is orchestrating off-the-books interventions, pulling strings, and basically threatening the Grim Reaper himself. The sheer audacity of this man to think he can bully death into retreating is why we have stand this problematic patriarch since the Stone Age. Totally, we cannot ignore the absolute wildest subplot that has just collided with Nick's overdose. Victor Newman has locked Matt Clark in the ranch gym. I am not joking. This is not a drill. Patty Williams, the absolute queen of chaos, got rejected by an amnesiac Matt in the park, threw a massive tantrum, and called Victor to sell Matt out. And what does Victor do? He doesn't call the cops. He doesn't tell Phyllis. He kidnaps the man and locks him in his private home gym. Is it just me, or did they completely fumble the bag on the legal system in Genoa City? A billionaire is holding a grown man hostage next to his treadmills and dumbbells. I am literally losing my mind over the campiness of it all. Matt is sitting there with no memories, probably wondering why a terrifying man with a mustache is interrogating him between sets of bench presses. Wait, let's just pause for a random storytime rabbit hole, because my brain is basically a buffering wheel right now. Do you guys remember back in the day when Victor locked Michael Baldwin in a literal basement dungeon situation, or when he kept Jack with a doppelganger? Victor has a literal history of turning Newman properties into private black site prisons. It is so unhinged. I remember sitting in my dorm room years ago watching Victor orchestrate these kidnappings and thinking, how does this man never face the FBI? And now he's doing it again in 2026. Wait, I'm literally yapping right now. Let's get back to the actual tea, because the hostage situation is only half of the drama. Let's pivot to Victoria. because my girl is going through it and I am low-key worried she is going to have a full-blown breakdown. Victoria was the one who caught Nick. She was the one who forced the intervention. Now she is watching her brother code and her father turn into a literal supervillain holding hostages in the West Wing. She is desperate, terrified, and grasping at straws. And who does she turn to? Who does she literally beg for help to save her brother's life? Jack freaking Abbott. Besties, the absolute irony of Victoria Newman crawling to the Abbott patriarch for salvation is sending me. She knows Jack has battled severe addiction. She knows Jack understands the dark, twisted psychology of a relapse better than anyone in their pristine, judgmental family. Jack Abbott stepping up to be Nick's sponsor was already a massive plot twist, but now that Nick is in critical condition, Jack is basically the only lifeline Victoria trusts. But let's look at the messy context here. Jack is currently spending half his time comforting Nikki at society, actively feeding her anger and embellishing Victor's misdeeds to permanently destroy their marriage. He is playing such a dirty, calculated game, yet when it comes to Nick, Jack's empathy is 100% genuine. The duality of Jack Abbott right now is a masterclass in soap opera character writing. He wants to save the son while destroying the father. I am literally obsessed with this dynamic. Jack is sitting at the Abbott mansion, feeling slightly guilty about manipulating Nikki, but now he has to rush to the hospital to pull Nick back from the brink of absolute disaster. And we haven't even talked about the ticking time bomb that is Patty Williams. Jack is trying to be a hero for the Newmans, but he just received a deeply creepy, cryptic bouquet of flowers from Patty at the Abbott mansion. Jack literally used Patty as a pawn against Victor, and now she is obsessed with him again. So let's connect the dots, squad. Patty is stalking Jack. Jack is trying to save Nick. Nick overdosed because of the stress of Matt Clark. Matt Clark is locked in Victor's gym because Patty sold him out. The web is so tightly woven, I can barely breathe. Every single storyline is colliding in this massive, explosive climax, and I am here for every single messy casualty. Is anyone else literally shaking? Because I cannot process how we are going to survive the rest of this week. Nick's life is hanging by a thread. Victor is running a private Guantanamo Bay out of his Pilates studio. Victoria is trauma bonding with Jack. And Patty is out here playing 4D chess with everyone's lives. I need you all to flood the comments right now. Do you think Nick is going to pull through, or are we looking at a permanent coma situation? Will Matt Clark regain his memory while doing pull-ups in Victor's gym? And when is someone going to arrest Victor for kidnapping? Sound off below, hit that subscribe button, and pray for my sanity because this show is literally ruining my sleep schedule.
Thank you for watching my video. I will be updating regularly with the latest news, so please remember to subscribe to my channel to support me.